meet people from other worlds of the multiverse. Many people have long been inspired by the assumption that alongside our present reality, our universe, there are infinite number of other worlds that differ from ours with a different reality or even a different concept of time. And this concept is called the multiverse. And the boundaries between these worlds are supposed to be so thin that sometimes people can cross from one world to the other. Two strange men in the desert. This strange story was published in Mysterious Disappearances by Robert Quinn, and this event happened in 1977 in Utah when two eyewitnesses, Ben and Steve, went on an overnight camping trip in the Rocky Desert. The first day and night passed normally, and on the second day, various strange things happened to take place. A strong wind came out of nowhere, and small tornadoes began to appear. Soon all the air in the area was filled with sand. The friends had to look for shelter in the first cave they came across, so they found a cave. The wind did not stop, and every now and then they looked from the cave at the weather. At one point they noticed two human figures quite far from them. Ben had binoculars with him, and he looked at them through the binoculars. They were tall, athletic men with long hair. On their heads they had something like jewelry, and on their hands they had metal bracelets, and they were walking in the desert. They were very impressed by these strangely dressed men, and why don't they look for shelter in all this wind and sand? The most unusual thing was a small vortex was moving beside them and was with them, and when they stopped, the vortex stopped too, as if they had a strange relationship with each other. They stopped and began to look around as if they had lost their way. At the same time, the whirlwind stood beside them until it moved on with them again. It was the craziest thing we saw, they said. And as it began to move away from us, the wind began to decrease and disappear completely. Suddenly, everything became quiet with a breeze, and the whirlwind and the strange men disappeared behind the rocks. They never understood what these people were. Were they aliens? Were they messengers from some other world that happened to pass into our world? The Man in the Snow. Another similar story was published in the same book. One day, a man with the surname Grace, who lived in New Mexico, went with his family on Christmas vacation to relatives in Connecticut. It was a cold December day in the countryside. Grace went for a walk along the hill when he noticed something alive, which at first looked like a dog, but with a closer look, he saw that it was a human, or rather a small human, like a 6-year-old child. At the same time, it was not a child, but an adult, as if he had lost his way, and it was very cold. He didn't stay in the snow for long because he suddenly magically disappeared. When he returned home and told what he had seen to his son and his wife, they all went together to the place he had seen it, but found nothing but an incomprehensible little hole in the snow. And according to Grace, this little man could have accidentally crossed over to our world, where he was scared of the cold and snow, and then returned to his world through some sort of portal, perhaps a portal in the snow they saw. Then there was a story of a gardener. Another strange case occurred July 1975 in New York. Michael and Janice returned home from a trip to find that someone had moved stones and flowers in their garden. At the same time, they lived in an isolated place where there were no other houses nearby. Since no damage was done, the couple soon forgot about this. But after a few weeks, someone changed the stones and flowers in their garden again, and this time tiny like footprints were found on the ground. A few days later at night, the couple woke up with a white light from the side of their garden. They went outside and saw on the stones a tiny woman the size of a doll, and a long dress and long hair. This white light came from this woman while she was arranging the stones and flowers. He did not notice the people, but after a while he disappeared, It's incomprehensible what kind of creature this was. From another world, or a fairy, or an elf? And why did he garden? Note: a trusted person has seen an elf in Greece, and this was exactly as they represented it. A time travel from their past? This story is like a classic random jump from the past to the future. This happened in 1950s in the state of New Jersey, in a town you don't mention by the name of. Passers-by noticed a woman in an old 19th century dress who looked scared and disoriented and was pacing back and forth in the street. And soon she began to attract attention of passers-by, and this made her feel worse. She tried to speak to the people watching her, but they didn't understand what she was saying or what she was trying to say, because she had a strange accent and seemed to be speaking in an unknown language. At one point, a police officer approached the woman and started shouting at her in a stern tone that made the woman even more scared, and she started running down a small alley, and no one saw her again, but she never left the alley. No one saw her leave the alley. This I've translated from a Greek article. You can see very strange appearances out of nowhere, strange entities. And a few videos back, I did post an article concerning the weapon, the technology that Alexander the Great was trying to find, and he finally did find, he did succeed finding it, when he went to the areas of the Himalayas. It's about 10 videos back, 15 videos back, Alexander the Great and the Gateway to the Stars. He did find that technology. It's basically alien technology or extraterrestrial technology, as described in the Emerald Tablets by Thoth the Atlantean, Hermes Trismegistus. And I do have a playlist of the Emerald Tablets. You can listen to them. You'll benefit greatly by the technology it describes there. And this evidently was what Alexander the Great succeeded in finding. And it was something that Nikola Tesla tried to tell us about concerning frequencies and electromagnetic ley lines of the Earth, and that these energies take you into interdimensional areas. You can switch from material body to a frequency and back again, and through space and the universe. Amazing. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.